Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Glasses Off, a video series I do every so often, every now and again, whenever a piece of news tickles my confusingly structured frontal cortex. These videos are usually a little bit more laid back, a little bit less heavily edited than my standard fare, and also, I'm very sick. I don't know if you could tell. Is it obvious? So I apologize in advance if this is absolutely unbearable to listen to. I wanted to talk a little bit today about censorship, specifically in video games, because it's been a little bit of a conversation that's been happening in the games industry recently due to some modern re-releases of classic titles that have some alterations from their original releases. Alterations that some find arbitrary at least, to downright censorious at absolute worst. Now, you don't have to be an epic video gamist like myself to know what Grand Theft Auto is. I'm sure everybody and their grandparents know what GTA is. Open world, violence, crime, the exact same font as Price is Right for some reason. A gosh darn good old time. It's such a good time, in fact, that the classic PS2 era trilogy, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and the universally beloved San Andreas, are being re-released with modern graphics, new controls. It looks like a gosh dang good old time. It really does look great. Look at those weather effects, huh? You ain't never seen PS2 look so weathery. Then a few days later, I'm scrolling through Twitter and I come across this article on my feed. GTA Trilogy trailer removes Confederate flag. And immediately I thought, God damn it, this bothers me so much for such specific reasons, but I know there are certain people who are only going to hear my criticisms and all they're going to hear is, "Oh, I love the Confederate flag, and I want to defend it every single fucking chance I get." This is such a massive inconvenience. And I'm sick. Can't catch a break. I don't know, man. I always hate it when older pieces of art are altered from their original intent with the explicit intention of, appealing to modern sensibilities. Especially when those changes are so surface level and arbitrary that they almost act in exact opposition to the modern sensibilities they're supposedly intended to uphold. This example in Vice City is actually, really perfect because this character, Phil Cassidy, is a bumbling fucking moron.
How's it going?
Hey, Connie! How you doing? It's been too long.
I swear you should lay off that boom shine, man. It smells like paint stripper. It's making my eyes burn.
Shh, Tommy. Hey, come over here because there's something I want to show you. Ta-da! Oh, damn!
In all of his appearances, Phil is featured as a manic, heavy artillery arms dealer selling the protagonist military-grade weaponry such as grenades, rocket launchers, miniguns, etc. Phil presents himself as a military veteran and regularly discusses his experiences, including claims of having flashbacks to the Vietnam War. However, Cam Jones claims that Phil was never in the army, and Phil's records show that he was repeatedly refused for service due to drunkenness and unsuitable temperament for combat. You have a character who is depicted as an unstable, temperamental, violent alcoholic who lied about serving in the military. One of the worst things you could do, especially in right-wing circles. And your thought for some reason is to distance that caricature from the Confederate flag? I feel like this is such a genuinely confusing thing because the motivation here seems so astoundingly incoherent. Grand Theft Auto is an open world sandbox where the player can do any type of fucked thing that they put their mind to. You can kill a hooker after you've had sex with her. You can rob a bank. You can fucking kill hundreds of police officers I have personally killed thousands of cops in Grand Theft Auto 4 and it was so much fucking fun. Love it. So the idea that the Confederate flag as a symbol was just too much for Grand Theft Auto, I don't buy it. It doesn't make sense to me. And the idea that the left wing wants it gone for some reason, that doesn't make sense either because it exists purely as a joke at the expense of stereotypical right-wingers. It's so confusing. And as I'm racking my brain trying to figure out why they would do this, why would you change such an arbitrary thing for seemingly no purpose, something kind of lit up in my brain. A memory, a faint memory of a video I did a very long time ago about the Confederate flag. And Well,
Apple right now is going through video games on the App Store and removing them if they contain the Confederate flag.
yeah, I totally forgot that this happened. And to my knowledge, this has never been undone. In 2015, Apple banned the use of the Confederate flag as imagery on their App Store, regardless of context. And I remember this was affecting a lot of historical-based games, like things like, real-time strategy simulators that took place in, the Civil War era. And because these Grand Theft Auto games are going to be on mobile platforms, including the App Store, nobody was offended by it. Nobody complained about it. They just want Apple's money. And you know what? Part of me feels like that's almost somehow worse. Do you guys remember when that Call of Duty, I think the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War trailer showed footage of Tiananmen Square because it was taking place during the Cold War? And then because Activision was taking money from Chinese mega corporations, they had to pull the trailer and re-upload a new trailer that pretended like Tiananmen Square never happened. Remember that? That's some bleak shit. A lot of people kind of jumped the gun on this. I saw a lot of takes on Twitter being like, they're bending to the woke mob. And it's like, nah. They just want Apple money. And while this particular instance of an old piece of media being altered happens to be financially motivated, it's not totally unreasonable to assume that some of these things are done to appeal to modern sensibilities. Resident Evil 4 VR, for example, which is exclusive to Facebook's Oculus platform, is a virtual reality remake of a classic video game, made classic by its, memorable story and memorable character interactions. And in this new version, a ton of dialogue has been removed to appeal to modern sensibilities. Leon Kennedy, the main character, occasionally flirts with Ingrid Hunnigan, and that's been entirely removed because I guess Leon can't flirt because flirting's not okay now. There are unsavory comments made about a female character in the game, and those comments are made by an unsavory character, and I guess that wasn't okay too, so those were removed. And it's not that, I like Confederate flags. It's not that I like women being, talked to as if they're, fucking objects. Tetris is, one of my favorite games of all time, and there isn't a sexism or a Confederate to be seen. I really just don't like the fact that video games are the only artistic medium that's open to this level of disrespectful meddling. You guys like Back to the Future, right? I love Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Let me tell you what Back to the Future is about. It's about a guy going back in time, his mother trying to pressure him into sex, his peeping Tom father saving his future mother from a rapist who's then just friends with them years later. And on top of it all, there's the added bonus of just the real implication that Chuck Berry stole Johnny Be Good from a white man. And that's all in every modern re-release of that movie. You wouldn't take a book like To Kill a Mockingbird or a movie like Schindler's List and edit the ever-loving fuck out of it just because it deals with unsavory subjects or unsavory characters. And that's ultimately why I care when little things like this happen. It's not that this is a massive deal. It's not like this is an example of society crumbling at the fucking seams. It's just something that I am personally not alright with, on principle. Why can't Leon Kennedy flirt? What's so wrong with that? Do characters not flirt? Do people not flirt? Why can't a communist-hating redneck alcoholic wear a Confederate flag shirt? Why does a protagonist have to be an inherently good and perfect person? Why does a villain need to be made more palatable? I can genuinely see a future where we have video games about World War II that don't mention the Nazis or don't show Nazi iconography. I actually think in one of the recent Call of Duty games, they just didn't even have a Nazi flag at all. And it's just this is fucking weird. It's not that I like the Nazi flag. It's just, what are you doing making a game about World War II if you're not going to talk about the fucking Nazis? I can see that future where you have a video game that's about World War II that doesn't mention the Nazis, but I can't imagine that same future for literature or music or film. But it sucks because I know that there are a lot of people who complain about stuff like this that are fucking way far gone. And so I'm left to be the only reasonable fucking person left with a sane head, congested as it may be at the moment, to talk about it in a way that hopefully is reasonable enough for the majority of people to listen to and understand without jumping to this weird, insane conclusion that, he just likes Nazis and Confederates. Ooh-wee. It's fucking annoying. And, maybe I'm reading too deeply into this. That's entirely possible. And, forgive me. After a year plus of pandemic living, it's hard not to assume the absolute worst of the future. Very much looking forward to those water wars. I know I don't normally make videos like this, and it's been a while since I have. I apologize if this is not what you were expecting. I just kind of felt like I wanted to say something. It's very rare that I feel, a little, passionate about something that I read online. I'm very jaded to a lot of the stuff that I read now, so I wanted to take advantage of the fact that I felt a little bit of a spark and speak my mind a little bit, even if, to the overwhelming majority of people, this is probably just like a really whiny video about something that probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Thanks for popping by. If you made it this far, I appreciate you immensely. I am sick, though, so I'm going to go inhale like 26 gallons of chicken noodle soup and possibly expire. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're feeling a little submissive, and comment if you want. I don't know. Even if you don't want to, just comment, You know what? Even if you don't like the video, like it anyway. It really does help me. Like, honestly, like, fuck what you want. It's all about me, because I'm sick, and I get to play that card. So, yeah. I'm gonna go drink some Dayquil. Take care.
I don't know. I'm just getting annoyed because I don't know. I don't fucking know. I give up. That's it.